After in-team insults and calls to have him removed from the team, Sergio Perez has somehow managed to stay on, keeping his Red Bull seat after the summer break in Formula One. How did he pull it off? Let's find out in today's video. There were discussions among the team's top bosses about possibly replacing him mid-season. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko had a meeting on Monday to go over Perez's performance, and it's now clear that internally, the decision is for Perez to stay on. Horner told staff at the factory that Checo remains a Red Bull racing driver despite recent speculation, and we look forward to seeing him perform at tracks he has previously excelled at after the summer break. Perez is experiencing his toughest patch at Red Bull so far. After a strong start with 103 points in the first 6 races, he struggled, scoring just 28 points in the last 8 races. Earlier this year, he signed a contract extension through 2025, but it includes termination clauses that Red Bull could use to end his deal early. This became a major talking point as his performance continued to dip. As Perez's form has gone downhill, Red Bull has also seen its lead narrowed by competitors. Lucky for them, Max Verstappen still holds a strong lead in the Drivers' Championship, which has even grown. On the other hand, Red Bull's chase for the Constructors' title, which once seemed almost guaranteed, is now facing serious challenges. McLaren has cut its gap to just 42 points and has been outscoring Red Bull by more than 9 points per race on average since the Miami Grand Prix in early May. If this trend continues, Red Bull could end up losing the championship battle. Perez has shown some signs of improvement recently, with a solid recovery drive to 7th place in Hungary, despite a rough start in Q1 and a front-row start in tricky qualifying conditions in Belgium. Although the update introduced in Hungary seems to have boosted his confidence with the RB20, and he's received part of the new package, he still hasn't managed to deliver a full weekend performance that satisfies Red Bull. Following his fall to 8th place at Spa, 7th after George Russell's disqualification, team principal Christian Horner couldn't hide his disappointment. But he emphasised that no one wants to make the decision to replace Perez and reassured that the team is fully behind him, committed to helping him regain his form. "Nobody wants to see him struggle," Horner said. "The team has been and is right behind him. Everybody wants to see him succeed because it hurts seeing him in the situation that is. Nobody wants to make that decision. Obviously, you guys talk about it every day. But in the team, we want to get him going." He did, however, make his disappointment in the Mexican felt. After the race, Horner said, "Starting on the front row, objective really was, pre-race, we felt that 3rd and 5th would be achievable. We achieved the 5th, before George Russell's DSQ, but we didn't achieve the 3rd. So we obviously need to go through the data, understand where his loss of pace was." Horner then confirmed that several items will be discussed at the meeting, which is a standard part of the team's routine before the summer shutdown. He wanted the media to know that the meeting wasn't because of driver difficulties. "We're constantly analysing, we're constantly looking at things. We've got a meeting, but it's not just about Checo, Sergio Perez. We have other topics on the agenda as well, which we always do going into the summer break." Red Bull's motorsport advisor Helmut Marko had less kinder words for Checo. He blasted Sergio Perez for his complete collapse during the Belgian Grand Prix, sharing his harsh views with Sky Germany. Sergio had the opportunity to take a good result from 2nd place. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Especially in the last stint, he completely collapsed, where he set 1 minute 48-second lap times. What looked so positive in qualifying unfortunately didn't materialise in the race. Sergio Perez has had enough of the speculation about his future with Red Bull, especially after a really bad race at the Belgian Grand Prix. Starting from P2 in Spa, Perez was hoping to turn around his recent tough results, with his last podium finish dating back to China. But a slow start caused him to drop a position to Lewis Hamilton. With overtaking more challenging than expected, and the dirty air proving detrimental, missing the chance to slipstream race leader Charles Leclerc on the opening lap was a significant setback for Perez. He was then further disadvantaged by being undercut during the first round of pit stops. Soon, Max Verstappen was right behind him, and Red Bull initially planned to swap the two drivers. Later on, they opted to pit Perez much earlier than he preferred to address a similar situation. With only 1 set of hard tyres and 2 sets of mediums on a day when the C2 tyre was the best choice, Perez ended up finishing 8th, which was upgraded to 7th after Russell's penalty. "Yeah, it was a really bad race for us. It started well in the first stint, but then the second stint was really complicated by going onto the medium compound," Perez said after. "That really hurt a lot when I had to push and the degradation was quite high. Yeah, we had to do quite a short stint, unfortunately, and that compromised, I think, the race time. but ultimately we didn't have the pace today. It was a very disappointing race. It started well, I was just struggling a lot on the straights. I don't know what was going on, but I had to save battery early on in the first couple of laps. And I was just very weak on the straights, and once I managed to clear it, charge the pack a bit, I was staying there. But then the second stint, jumping onto the medium tyre with all the traffic behind, it just made it really, really difficult. Very tricky. We did quite a short stint as well, so we were just out of sync. I think we were just not good with tyres today. Balance wasn't there as well, so plenty of things to analyse on our side. Even though he signed a new contract at the beginning of June, speculation about Perez's future has increased due to his recent poor results. He's now dropped to 7th in the championship, and more critically for the team, Red Bull is facing suffocating pressure from McLaren in the constructors' standings. When asked about how he is dealing with the pressure to perform, Checo said, "I don't think I will be responding anymore to any future speculation. I'm here with the team fully committed. As a team, we have a lot of stuff to focus on to get ourselves ready for the second half of the season. I've had enough of the speculation. I've said everything I have to. Yeah, it's time to take a break, regroup with the team and get back to it. I think we have too much going on in the team and a lot of things that we have to focus on, and we cannot waste any energy with all this speculation. This is the last time I will speak about the future, so just to make it clear for everyone, I will not be speaking anymore. I will not answer any more questions about the future." Surprisingly, for some people, the main culprit for Red Bull's troubles isn't Checo. In the midst of speculation about Adrian Newey's dissatisfaction with Red Bull's development path, Ralf Schumacher has claimed that his successor, Pierre Wache, has not been able to close the gap. After 19 years with Red Bull, during which he helped the team achieve 7 drivers' titles and 6 constructors' championships, Newey's departure as the team's technical mastermind was announced in May. This season will be his last with the team. Set to leave in early 2025, Newey has been focused on developing the Red Bull RB17 hypercar, with some involvement in the F1 2024 season. Meanwhile, most of the 2024 season's development has been handled by Pierre Wache. As Red Bull lost ground in the development race to McLaren and even Mercedes, and after copying some parts from Mercedes' car, Italian website Formula 1 Uno reported that part of Newey's departure was due to his concerns about Red Bull's future direction. This reportedly led Red Bull to initially move away from their Mercedes-inspired upgrades in Hungary, only to revert some of those changes at Spa. After Max Verstappen criticised the Hungaroring updates on his RB20 as not good enough, the team reverted some changes, including the engine cover and other parts deemed specific to the track for the Spa Grand Prix. At Spa, Verstappen qualified in P1 by nearly 0.6 of a second, but had to start from P11 due to an engine grid penalty. Despite this, he managed a strong recovery to finish in P4. Former F1 driver and Sky pundit Ralf Schumacher commented on Red Bull's performance, stating, "It started at the beginning of the season. One of the most important men left the team, and I believe that the successor has not been able to close this gap yet. He has to prove it when you look at the car. A few things have changed. The car is harder to drive. Both drivers are finding it harder, including Max Verstappen. Red Bull have to come up with something. The wings are not that big at the moment. Who are you blaming for Red Bull's fall from grace this season? Sergio Perez, Pierre Wache, or someone else? Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.